And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I'm back with part 2 of my 5-part tier list series. Today we're doing primary position shooting guards. So, if you're new to the tier list or just new to the channel in general, let me break it down for you right off the bat. S tier, unquestionable best cards in the game. Pretty much for every playstyle or every single team. They're going to be good for you. A tier cards. Generally some of the best cards in the game. Granted, the S tier guys are going to be a little bit better. Some of the A tier guys might be like outdated S tier guys, etc. So, B tier guys. Guys that do 3 to 4 things incredibly well. Generally really good cards that a majority of the player base will succeed with regardless of playstyle, or maybe they're just incredibly good for a certain playstyle, etc. C tier guys. Guys that are either moderately okay, or they're on their way out. They do like 2-3 things really, really well, but may have some glaring issues in their cards, but with certain players are probably still really good. D tier guys. That would be what I consider specialist dudes. Like, they do 1 or 2 things incredibly well, or for 1 or 2 playstyles they're really, really good, or they're generally cards that were once great but are now kind of outdated. F tier guys, guys that for the most part you can move on from. Like, these cards you can move on from, and any of the people ranked above them will be better. Trash. Couldn't think of a better way to really accentuate that these cards are bad or super outdated, and if you're still using them, anybody above them would be an upgrade. That's just kind of how it goes. Yeah, if you guys are noticing my voice is a little different, my throat's still kind of messed up, so bear with me here. So, first things first, we got Tracy McGrady from the Radioactive set. I'll just throw him right up in S tier. Like, you guys know, if you're watching my channel, like, I'm going to hype Tracy McGrady. I don't really need to talk too much about this. Like, T-Mac's T-Mac. He's a Dark Matter T-Mac. Like, obviously, he's S tier. One of the best cards in the game. I will say he does have that trot problem that Magic Johnson has occasionally. It seems to happen very randomly with him, but it does happen. That doesn't warrant him going into A or B tier or anything, but it's just something to kind of think about when you are going to spend 400 or 500k on this card, is that he will have that little slow trot that you need to break with the dribble animation. Kind of similar to like Magic Johnson, and Tyrese Halliburton for the most part has it too. So, next up we got DeMar DeRozan. Diamond Flash card. He's just super outdated. He can't really shoot. He's not terrible, but I would say trash would be where he belongs. There's just cards at every tier are going to be better than him. I mean, he could move up to F tier, but I think that's about the highest he'll go. Bingo, I would say he's F. He's similar to DeMar in what they do, but he shoots a little bit better. Granted, he's a little bit smaller, but I think F tier kind of makes sense for him. Brandon Ingram, I would put him in B. He's a little sluggish as well, but he's a 6'7" 2 guard. He plays offensively really well. They gave him unpluckable this time, which is great. He plays pretty solid defense. He has a long wingspan. He's a card I generally enjoy, but I don't think he's like a top tier card in this game, but he's very usable. And especially if you're on a budget and you want to get like an elite card for like 80k or so, like Brandon Ingram's very good for that price. Clyde Drexler. He's still a bucket for sure, and he plays competent enough defense, but I don't think he makes it to C tier. I think D kind of makes sense for this Clyde Drexler. This Clyde Drexler, no question, is B tier though. Like, especially because he's a free card, but he is that good. Like, he's great at attacking the basket. He dunks super duper hard. He can shoot pretty well. Like, Clyde Drexler's release this year has been way better than it has been in the past couple 2Ks. In my opinion, anyway, they definitely increased it. Pantheon D'Angelo Russell, I would say probably D tier. Like, he's great offensively, terrible defensively, and he's kind of getting outdated at this point. I still like this card a lot, though. I don't know if I'd use him over Clyde Drexler. I probably wouldn't. David Thompson, this card's awful. I hate him so much. I've had to do challenges with him, and I just dislike this card on, like, so many levels. Devin Booker, yeah, I'd probably put him over in D tier. He's about as good as the Pink Diamond from Season 3, and they probably deserve to be around the same tier. D kind of makes sense. I think the guys in C tier are going to be better than Devin Booker. Dominique Wilkins, I think, should go in B tier. Him and Clyde Drexler aren't altogether that different as far as, like, what can you expect from those cards. So having them in a similar tier kind of makes sense. Donovan Mitchell. Now, if this was a point guard tier list, because we are doing primary position shooting guards, I would say, like, as a point guard, Donovan Mitchell's probably around B tier, if we're being real. But as you know, if we're ranking him against the shooting guards that are available right now, granted, him playing point guard does help a little bit. He misses just an absurd amount of whites. I don't understand what it is about Donovan Mitchell, but he misses so many whites. I would put him like top of C tier. Like at the shooting guard position, I'd use all three of these guys over him, no question. I don't think he's that bad, but Doug West, I'd put Doug West like the bottom of D tier. Rex Chapman. He goes F tier just because it's Rex Chapman, but he plays no defense, but he still can shoot and is much better offensively than these guys. Tyler Hero, I would throw Tyler Hero in C tier. He's a pretty good 3-and-D card with a really nice jump shot. Like, Donovan Mitchell is definitely better than Tyler Hero for sure, but Tyler Hero is better than these guys in D tier. So as I add more people to C tier, you'll start to see the disparity. He'll end up like over here, or, you know, possibly even like down in C tier. Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones' time has kind of passed, but I think he's still D tier. He still is a good 3-and-D option, but like someone like Tyler Hero is obviously better. Felipe Lopez. Yeah, I'm going to put him bottom of C tier. I still like Felipe Lopez a lot. I think he's great. Personally, I really do. I think he's like one of the best rubies we've gotten this whole year. Geoff Petrie. I'd put him down in D for now. I mean, Geoff Petrie's pretty good. He might end up moving up to C tier. It just kind of depends. He's just a little outdated at this point. He's not bad by any means whatsoever. He's missing some pretty important hot zones. He's a solid enough shooter, but he could be better, and he's lacking some defensive badges. He was a really good budget alternative to Dwayne Wade for a little bit, but that time has kind of passed. Gerald Green. Ooh, I'm going to wait to rank Gerald Green because he just came out, so my recency bias is really hard on Gerald Green, so I'm going to chill out on him and wait to rank him. Jamal Crawford, same thing with Geoff Petrie, like D tier makes sense. Same with Possessed Harden, and this Harden probably way at the bottom of D tier. I mean, they're glass cannon guys. I think that Devin Booker and Eddie Jones are probably at the top with like Clyde Drexler right here, and then I think these three guys deserve to be like this, bam, bam, bam. With D'Angelo right here. Yeah, this actually makes sense. That's just me. Allen Iverson, C. This Allen Iverson's actually really good. I would put him like right over here with next to Donovan Mitchell. Like, this AI is surprisingly solid. He's a bucket. He's not playing like any defense whatsoever, but he has the best steal animations in the game. It's not particularly close. Like, I think Rondo is the only other person I would put up there. And this card actually has a really nice badge count. He has like Hall of Fame badges, I think 21 or so. And honestly, Allen Iverson, like the jump shot coming off of him, it's just smooth. He has that, I think he has Trey Burke, right? Let me double check on that. I can't remember exactly what his release is. Yeah, it's Trey Burke with release 28 upper. Allen Iverson is the only person who has it, and Rafer Alston. Yeah, it's just a really smooth release. He has great steal animations, great steal tendencies. As far as like badges, he comes relatively complete. He does have a Hall of Fame clamps and Hall of Fame pickpocket. If he had Hall of Fame Intimidator, I think he'd be a better card, but that's about the only thing that he really needs. That he's a great dunker too, which is surprising. He's just a good card. Like, him and Donovan Mitchell are very similar. Amethyst Jason Richardson. I think Amethyst Jason Richardson C tier, like lower tier C tier, but I think he's better than all these guys in D. I would probably use him over him. Jaylen Brown, probably put him next to Eddie Jones. Just an outdated card at this point. Jeff Malone. Not a big Jeff Malone guy. I'd probably put him in F tier. I mean, if you like Jeff Malone and think he's better than like Diamond James Harden, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I'll probably end up moving James Harden down anyway, so. Jerry Sloan. Jerry Sloan's tough. Like, I don't know, man. I haven't had too much experience with this card from a personal standpoint, just because the vault hates me with like a burning passion. But he's really good. He's got jump shot 70, which is Yee's release, which honestly it misses a lot of whites. I will say that. Like, that's the one problem I have with Yee's release. It's Jonathan Isaac based, basically. If you want, for context purposes. 94 shot 3, but like I said, he's going to miss a lot of whites. He also has Hall of Fame steady. So if you're over on next gen, like, he's probably an incredibly good card over on next gen. But on current gen, he's not really great. I would probably put him around B tier, just to balance between the two gens overall. That being said, if you were over on next gen, he's probably A tier. If you're on current gen, he is low end B, high end C, I would say. That's just my opinion, though. Could be wrong. Pantheon MJ, I would say he's still A tier. Like, he's still a dark matter card. I don't necessarily know if he is S tier. I mean, he might end up getting up there. I just don't know. Michael Jordan's just never really that good in 2K. Like, I don't really like his release. He has great steal animation zone. He dunks so hard. I mean, he's basically a GOAT card. It's kind of hard for me to keep him out of S tier with just the badges that he has. Yeah, just how good he is defensively. I think he's the worst card in S tier for sure. And that goes for wherever his hero counterpart is. He'll probably go up there too. I think he's the worst card in S tier. I'll say that right now. But I think he deserves to be up there. I just don't think there's any reason you can keep him out. Jim Jackson. I actually don't mind Jim Jackson. I would say he's like the best card in D tier. Vince Carter. I think Vince Carter's still A tier. Like, Vince Carter's still really, really good. There's going to be a lot more guys in A tier for the shooting guard tier list, I will say. Like, VC is still definitely better than all the guys in B tier, so I don't think there's any way I can put him down in B right now with the parameters that I've set. Joe Dumars. I'm not even kidding. Joe Dumars is probably C tier. Like, he's actually pretty solid for a free reward card. Like, he's really not that bad. He's a little bit small. He can play the point guard position too, which I try not to factor the secondary positions in too much. Just because, you know, like someone like Donovan Mitchell, it's a shooting guard tier list, but majority, I would say 95% of people play him at point guard, so it's hard. But Dumars isn't bad. He's got jump shot 36, which is the same as like Walt Frazier and McGinnis. It's Joe Ingles base is what I call it. And I actually like that release now. I used to fight with Mills about it all the time, but it's actually pretty good now, especially since they put it on quick. So I would say like C tier for Joe Dumars. I don't think he's that bad. Okay, this one's probably going to be a little controversial, but I don't think Havlicek is really S tier anymore at this point. I think he's A tier still. Do not get me wrong. This card is still an absolute bucket, but some of the other cards are still like just as wet as Havlicek, but play better defense. And I don't think he's on the level of like T-Mac. You could argue he's on the level of Michael Jordan, but that depends on a personal play style. But like trying to be objective and not factor in meta and like trying to factor in all play styles. If you're a 3-point hunter, like Havlicek's still probably S tier for you, for sure. But overall, if I'm just looking at every playstyle, I think A tier makes the most sense. Like, he's going to improve majority of teams, but I don't know as if he's better than someone like MJ for various playstyles. Like, if you're running a 3-and-D, MJ is probably a little bit better. He plays better defense. If you rim run, I think MJ is definitely better. His dunk animations are bar none some of the best in the game. Like, MJ's are. Those Michael Jordan signature dunks that he does are very difficult to block because they're just fundamentally sound. John Starks. Sorry, John Starks. I like you a lot, but there you go. Pete Maravich. Alright, if I'm being realistic, like, I can't say he's that much worse than Ruby Rex Chapman. I think they're pretty similar. They have, like, almost the same jump shot base. Like, personal preference, like, I'd throw Pete Maravich in trash and keep Rex Chapman up here, but, like, F tier makes sense for Pete Maravich. J.R. Smith. I actually think JR still belongs in the C tier. I know he's kind of outdated, but he's still good enough that I think his badge count is low, I will say, but like I can't for certain say he's worse than Jason Richardson or Felipe Lopez. I can't. Evan Fournier. This one's also going to be controversial, but I think Evan Fournier is B tier. He's an elite 3-and-D 2 guard in this game, and he can handle the rock a little bit too. He's got good size. I personally like his jump shot a lot. Yeah, he's a 3-and-D cone for sure, but I still think he's really good. His badge count could be better, but I like jump shot 4. I know it's the same as Donovan Mitchell, but he has that 58 upper, and I think that really makes like a big difference. The upper on jump shots makes a bigger difference than a lot of people think. That being said, he has good steal animations, which I think is kind of weird. He jumps lanes pretty well. Dribble moves, like I said, I'm not a huge dribbler, so, and honestly, you're not going to be trying to cut up opposing defenses with like formulaic dribble moves with Evan Fournier. Like, I don't even think he would do that if he was playing 2K. So. Kawhi Leonard. I would say Kawhi is probably the top of B tier. I don't really think he's A tier anymore. I don't know. He's tough. I still use him in my starting lineup, but I'm starting to get kind of fed up with him. It's not really his fault. I mean, he's got good badges. He's got good badges. He's got Ray Allen base with release 102, which actually is pretty good. It's the same upper as Yao, which is weird, but yeah, I mean, he's still altogether like a pretty good card. He only has those 4 Hoff shooting badges, which is kind of an issue. He's got good defensive badges, but one of those Hoff badges being a steady shooter hurts the card, I will say, on current gen. Like, if we're talking next gen, he's A tier for sure. But, I mean, with current gen, he's probably B tier, so I'll probably keep him right at B tier. Like I said, I try to take both gens into consideration. So if you're watching this and you have next gen, I mean, A, it's hard for you. If you don't have Kawhi already, it's not really that big of a deal. But, yeah, I mean, he's probably A tier, I guess, but I'll keep him at B. Kevin Porter Jr., who I was slandered for ranking too low last time, I'd put him in C tier with Felipe Lopez. I can't really say he's much worse than this. I think I put him in C tier last time, and I still got lambasted, so whatever. Have at it. Klay Thompson, he's still an elite 3-and-D guy, but he does have that Klay Thompson glitch, which is super annoying on current gen. So, there. AI, I'd put him in D. Yeah, I mean, he probably deserves to go by. Where's James Harden, Joe F. Petrie, and Jamal Crawford? Yeah, right over there. Ruby Kobe. That Kobe release is still really good. I would put him over here in like C tier. I would still use this Kobe card over all the cards in D tier, so it makes sense. The Ruby Goats, Felipe Lopez, Kobe, and Kevin Porter. Now that being said, non-badge W doesn't have range extender and a couple other important badges, which is kind of annoying, but Kobe has great animations, great jump shot. I don't know. There's no reason to keep him out of C tier, in my opinion. Lionel Simmons. I actually think Lionel Simmons is B tier, and if he's B tier, I think Gerald Green's also B tier. I'm not even kidding. I think Lionel Simmons and Gerald Green are two of the best diamond cards in this entire game. I don't know. It's tough. Can I say that they're both like worse than Evan Fournier? No. Like, I think they're pretty similar. Like, Evan Fournier is probably the first person to move down. I think Lionel Simmons and Gerald Green are a little bit better. Lionel Simmons just has a good mix of everything. Also, you guys gotta understand, like, I have them ranked in an order, too, so it's like, people are gonna freak out because they're gonna see Kawhi Leonard and Lionel Simmons in the same tier, not realizing that it's actually, like, a weighted tier. Like, Kawhi Leonard is the top of B tier, okay? He's not quite A tier, but he's the top of B tier, alright? He's not ranked at the same as Lionel Simmons and Gerald Green. I promise you he's not. Ben Gordon. I'd put him in C tier, next to Donovan Mitchell and AI. Luka. Luka's a bit outdated at this point. I'd probably put him down in like D. I don't know. Maybe I move him up to C. He's just, the badge count is really off for him, and the stats as well. He came out a long time ago. It's not really his fault, you know. We have a great Luka card. Luka fans can calm down a little bit. I mean, he's still got okay badges and stuff like that. He's still got okay stats, but his speed is low. Like, he's kind of slow and sluggish. He doesn't play the best defense. His lateral quickness is a little off. He has absolutely zero defensive badges, so I would say D makes sense for him. Fully badged up with, like, shoes and stuff, yeah, maybe he's, like, C tier, but, you know. MJ. This MJ is still B tier. He's still good. I would put him up close to, like, where's Clyde Drexler and B.I. B.I.'s a little higher from personal preference, but I would put Michael Jordan up towards the top of B tier. He's still a really good card. He just got forgotten about because we got a Dark Matter, like, 2 weeks after he came out. Malik Sealy. I think Sealy's towards the bottom of B tier, but he's still really good. He's just a worse version of Kawhi. That's it. And for certain people, he's a better version of Kawhi. Just kind of depends how you feel about his base. Walter Davis. I actually really like Walter Davis. I'm going to put him at like the bottom of C tier. He's still a great 3-and-D T-Mac clone. Or not 3-and-D, sorry. Like more of a defensive slasher version of T-Mac. A significantly better version of this DeMar DeRozan that can shoot a little bit too. Yeah, Manu. This one hurts, but I gotta throw you down in trash. I dislike you like a lot, so much. I would take all these cards in F tier over this Manu. This is the most disappointing card this year. Darius Miles. Look, I know I've had some glaring concerns with this card, but at the same time, like, he's really good. I like him over all of the cards behind him. I would take him over Jerry Sloan, actually. Personal preference, I'd take him over Dominique, but I'm going to leave it the way it is. Darius Miles is a 6'9". He plays 2-guard. I will say the reason he's not ranked higher is because of his hot zones. He has no hot zones at the top of the key, which is huge because that's where he's going to be stationed depending on what freelance you're running for the most part, especially if he's playing primary 2-guard. He plays much better at the small forward position. If this was a small forward tier list, he would be ranked higher in B, but he's still really good. He's a great slasher, excellent defender, huge player build with a huge wingspan. Darius Miles' jump shot is really nice too. he wears a headband, which is automatically sick, like guaranteed. Guaranteed I'm going to like the card a lot more. And I'll be honest, I'm a little biased because of how big of a Darius Miles fan I actually am. But jump shot 65 is what he has, which is like DeLon Wright and Tyus Jones jump shot. On release 36 upper, which is like Chris Boucher and like Byron Beck. On very quick. And it looks super weird. Like, it looks very awkward coming off of his hand, but it's actually really good. I will say he's missing Deadeye and Flexible, which is kind of a problem. But I think defensively he kind of makes up for it. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, if he's up here, he's up here. So, Adrian Dantley, I'd throw him in like the bottom of C tier. I mean, he's all right. DeMar DeRozan is a T-Mac clone. You know he's going to S tier. Honestly, I'm not even convinced that Radioactive T-Mac is actually better than DeMar DeRozan. He's got a better player build. But from what I've seen, DeMar doesn't suffer from like the stutter step that T-Mac has, like that Magic Johnson stutter step. I don't know. Comment down below if you have DeMar and he does that little slow momentum thing where you have to do a dribble move to break out of his like slow thing on current gen. It's super annoying. Let me know if that's still the case for him because I'm not sure. Joe Caldwell. Sorry, buddy. You're going down there. I would still use Joe Caldwell over... Yeah, you know, I'm going to move this James Harden down here too. I don't feel right about him being above Joe Caldwell. Michael Redd. I would say Michael Redd is B tier. I'd put him right around like Malik Sealy or... I can't say Malik Sealy is really worse than Jerry Sloan, though. I put Michael Redd like right here. I actually think Michael Redd is really, really good. Once again, I'm trying not to be biased, but I am a fan of Michael Redd, and I always have been, so that's kind of tough. Both in 2K and in real life. I like Michael Redd in 2K. He's really, really good, usually. He's got hot zones everywhere. I would honestly say that he's actually one of the best cards in B tier. I would put him up here. He's that good. I don't know. Fight me if you want. Jerry Stackhouse, D. He's alright. Eddie Jones is still number 1 D tier card, though. I'd put, like, Stackhouse over here somewhere. Put, like, him and Devin Booker, like, as that. The Luke over there. Yeah, that looks better to me. Dwayne Wade. Yeah, right here. Right with the rest of the little small borderline point guard, shooting guard guys. Drazen. I'd put him in... Yeah, I'd put him in D. I like him better than... Yeah, I like him better than these guys. I'd put him right there. Mitch Richmond. I actually think Mitch Richmond is pretty solid. Like, I'd put him, like, right around J.R. Smith. He's actually good. And I could just have fond memories of, like, Mitch Richmond from earlier in the year, but I think he's nice. Tyler Hero, still okay catch and shoot guy, but bottom of F tier. Allen Houston, probably, like, top of D tier. There's just a lot of cards that do what he does better. Maybe I move him up to C. Like, I like Mitch Richmond because he handles the ball better and plays a little bit better defense. Like, Allen Houston just doesn't really bring much of that. Walter Davis is going to be the first person that gets dropped, I'll be honest. Oh, Buddy Hield is C tier, no question. I actually like this card a lot. I put him right next to Tyler Hero. Monte, how the mighty have fallen. I'll put you right behind Devin Booker in D tier. Bradley Beal, I caught a lot of flack for last time because I put him in C tier over some cards. I think he probably deserves to go right next to Allen Houston, if I'm being real. He's kind of small, doesn't play a whole lot of defense. Getting a little outdated. If he could play the point guard position, I would put him up in C tier with like Ben Gordon, Allen Iverson, Dumars. But the fact that he plays shooting guard, small forward, which I think is just dumb in the first place that they even did that, that's what puts him down in D tier. Like, objectively, I guess, is he worse than Walter Davis? Kinda, yeah, in some ways. James Harden. Alright, James Harden's really tough, because there just can't be I put him in A tier. There just can't be this many S tier cards, I don't think. And I think all the guys in S tier are better than James Harden. I guess. Yeah, they are. They are. I mean, at the shooting guard position. Once again, James Harden playing point guard is key. But I just think that Glitch James Harden, I mean, he's so good. It's just tough. There's just not... I just feel like there aren't that many S tier guys. I mean, James Harden's really good. Like, do not get me wrong. He's got the James Harden base on quick, which is a good jump shot. He actually plays, like, very competent defense. He's got good lateral quickness. 95 speed. Yeah, it's just tough. 90 driving dunk. I don't know. I'm gonna leave him here for now, but it's honestly getting to the point where it's tough for me to keep him out of S tier. Like, he might actually be up in S tier. I don't like having that many cards up in S tier, but 2K has kind of destroyed power balancing over the past like season, so it's tough to keep him out. Let the list play out. Nick Anderson, where you at, Rex Chapman? Yeah, right there. Gone but never forgotten. You guys are my dudes. This Manu Ginobili is like probably D tier. He plays a little bit of defense. He is better overall than this one. I hate this one. Brandon Roy, A tier, no question. I know I see somebody having a frenzied freak out in my comments right now because I ranked Brandon Roy over Kawhi Leonard. Facts, 100%. I'll do it 10 out of 10 times. I don't care. He's a better card. D'Angelo Russell. Yep, right next to your components. I think him and Donovan Mitchell are the best out of these guys. Dwayne Wade's a great defender. Yeah, it probably actually goes in this ranking, but I'd put him down in C tier. Nikhil. He's got a nice player build, but he can't really shoot very well. I would say he probably goes right here. Walter Davis is tough. Devin Booker. I actually think Devin Booker is like B tier. I mean, he probably right there. Makes sense for him. He's a pretty good card, actually. I wish he could play point guard, but he can't. Yeah, but his dribble moves are better this year. They're not terrible like they were last year, so. Norman Powell, D. That's where he belongs. Otis Birdsong. I like you a lot, and if you're fully badged up, maybe you deserve to go up, but yeah, he's not, and that's yeah. This Brandon Roy, F2. Pistol Pete. I think Pistol Pete is just better James Harden, so that's why I'm keeping James Harden down at A. Pistol Pete is a nightmare, dude. If you've run into this guy online, he's like better Havlicek. Like, this dude is ridiculous, in my opinion. I've run into him a few times, and I played around with him a bit, and he has hot zones everywhere. He has 40 Hoff badges and 97 shot 3 with Ray Allen base, so he's going to make an annoying amount of whites, even with Hall of Fame steady shooter. Like, it doesn't matter. On next gen, this dude is the best shooter, pure shooter in the game, as far as I can tell. He has an ungodly amount of shooting badges. He actually plays really good defense. He's got great lateral quickness too. Great tendencies. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this card. It's the complete opposite of the other one. He's got a 99 pass intercept, 99 on-ball steal. Plus, he's got great steal animations. Like I've said in the point guard video, I wish the databases would start to publish the defensive animations for cards, because there's guys that have steal animations that are significantly better than other cards. Like, it's not even a question. Like, and at the same position, there's point guards that have better steal animations over other point guards that are the same size, same position. And I want to know what those are, because Pete Maravich has those same steal animations where he does this light little tap and the ball will just start rolling a little bit, like making it very easy to recover. Same thing Allen Iverson does, but it's a little bit different. For that reason, he's an A, or he's an S, and Harden's an A. I mean, if you're a big Harden fan, I'm sorry. Quentin Richardson. Yeah, right over by Buddy Hield and Tyler Hero in C tier. Anthony Edwards, I'd probably put him in C as well. There's going to be one Anthony Edwards stan that's really upset about this, but I think he's better than Ben Gordon, actually. Ray Allen. Ray Allen's still like bottom of C tier, just because Ray Allen base is so good. This Ray Allen is B tier, though, no question. I'd put him right over by like Evan Fournier. This card is really, really good, and he makes more whites than anyone. As far as against the CPU, this is one of the better cards that you can use against the Hoff CPU, because with his Hall of Fame steady shooter and his base, he will make way more 3-point attempts than a lot of cards will against the Hall of Fame CPU, regardless if they're open. And that is tremendously helpful, especially in late game situations. And then when you're playing against people online, this card's a bucket, and he plays competent enough defense. Juan Carlos Navarro. I hate this card so much. Like, I really do. He's everything that I've said about these guys down here, but he's just better. This is the most annoying, sweaty card in the entirety of 2K21. If you come up against a dude with Juan Carlos Navarro at point guard, you know you are in for just the worst experience. This dude is going to do 47 Curry slides in a row. He's going to speed boost the entire time. And I mean, there's a reason that all the sweats use Juan Carlos Navarro. A, he's not that expensive, and B, He's really that good. He's annoying. I hate him so much. I wanted that to be known. Klay Thompson. Yeah. Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield-esque. He's better than those guys. Put him like right here. He's better than Joe Dumars, Allen Iverson, Ben Gordon. He's about right there, I would say. Jason Richardson. He's better than Walter Davis. Yeah, he's better than Dantley, I think. He's about right there. Where's the other Jason Richardson? Yeah, like basically the same card. Right there. Kobe. I think he's still low B tier. Kobe's still a really annoying shooting guard in this game. He's still good. Kobe Bryant animations are that good that he's still like kind of remains through the test of time. There's a reason he's still over 100K. Aaron Afalo. D, slow jump shot. Pretty good overall amethyst. I would put him right over here. Yeah, Eddie Jones still the best card in this tier. I don't know. That's how I feel. Rip Hamilton. I think Rip Hamilton's over here somewhere. Put him like by Jim Jackson. Monte Ellis. He's still okay. Ronald Murray. Right over by Felipe Lopez. I personally prefer Felipe Lopez, but Ronald Murray's fine too. You think I was going to keep Rudy Fernandez out of C tier? No way. He's still the GOAT. He's still Rudy Fernandez. He deserves to be in the middle of C tier somewhere. He's definitely outdated at this point, but he's still a monster. I don't care. If you have a badged up Rudy Fernandez, he's still probably B tier, but standard, around C. Sam Jones. Yeah, Sam Jones is not that good. I don't know if you're a big Sam Jones fan, I'm sorry. Scottie Pippen. Top of B tier, I would say. Like, not top of B tier, because he's got kind of a slower jump shot, but he's one of the best defenders in this entire game. Yeah, I can't really say he's better than Opal Jordan, but he's right around Opal Jordan levels. The only thing that's wrong with Scottie Pippen is if he had a different jump shot, because he's got a great player build, and he plays lockdown defense. He can hold down pretty much any player on the court, which is huge. If he had a different jump shot, he'd be A, possibly even S tier. But because he has that slower jump shot, I personally like it. It's the same jump shot Brian Russell has. It's a great 3-and-D cone jump shot. Also, it limits me from taking terrible shots, but objectively, like, he probably deserves to be around here. I think he's better than this MJ. Yeah. Dale Ellis. Dale Ellis is still a really good 3-and-D guy. I'd put him right by, like, Ray Allen and Evan Fournier. I'd put Kobe over here somewhere. I don't know. I don't know if he's necessarily better than Lionel Simmons or J.R. Green, but I'm not going to disrespect the legend like that. Yeah, Dale Ellis is good. He's a great 3-and-D card. Shea. I actually think Shea is a better card than a lot of people realize. There's going to be a lot of guys in B tier for the shooting guards. This is how it is. Like, a lot of these guys are B tier to the fullest. Like, maybe I move Dale Ellis down. I'll probably move Fournier down, if anyone. Fournier is probably the first person to move down. I might consolidate that. Sidney Moncrief, the only thing that keeps this guy out of F tier is because he has some of the best steal animations in the game, and he's incredibly helpful for offline steal-based challenges. Other than that, he's not really good at all for much else. I'll put him in D based on his helpfulness in that one thing. Like, that one thing is very good. Terrence Ross. I'd probably put Terrence Ross somewhere around like these Ruby guys or like Jason Richardson. He's still a pretty good card. He kind of got forgotten about instantly because we got really good budget wings, but Terrence Ross is still solid. This Michael Redd, I'd put him in like right over here. He's still a good offensive card. Where's Allen Houston? Yeah, right over there. But at the same time, his time has kind of passed. Tim Legler. D. I don't know. It's Tim Legler. Like, do you really care where he's ranked? D tier makes sense. The shooting guard tier is weird because there's not a lot of F tier guys. Like, I could consolidate this and move people down and stuff, but I really think the only 3 cards, at least so far, and even if I'm looking down here that I have on this list that are like truly like you need to upgrade these guys instantly, are David Thompson and DeMar DeRozan and Manu. Like, I think even if you're running, well, I could never put Rex Chapman down there ever. Yeah, I could throw Bingo down there. Bingo. Pink Diamond T-Mac. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's just not. No, you know what? No, I could never. Yeah, James Harden, Luka, all these non-clamps, non-defending player offensive guys. Like, T-Mac deserves to be right there. Diamond Wade. Yeah, I mean, D. I don't really like Diamond Wade. I mean, you could argue he's not that much worse than that one. Oh, do I not have Pink Diamond Wade in here? Okay, well, Pink Diamond Wade would go right here, I guess. Diamond Wade would be down at, like, top of D tier. Pink Diamond Wade from Radioactive. Is it Radioactive? Yeah, I think so. He'd be, like, right over here next to the Opal. Inferno T-Mac. A. Yeah, I mean A. He's not... This T-Mac is definitely... No. Sorry. This T-Mac is definitely better. Like I said, he's still the top of A tier. I think, personally, Inferno T-Mac is better than these guys. But, in my opinion, the ranking goes as such. This is how I rank it. But, objectively, I mean... Havlicek's probably right here. Brandon Roy's probably right here next to T-Mac. Like, it probably goes something more like this is what the actual ranking would go. This is kind of interchangeable, but yeah, I mean, Inferno T-Mac is borderline S tier at this point still. He's still really that good. I mean, if you're looking at grabbing Radioactive T-Mac, like this T-Mac honestly has all the most important badges in the game. He's still really good. I mean, they do this every single year. Last year, the Pink Diamond T-Mac and the Leap Year T-Mac weren't that different, and their prices reflected that. So, all right, what do we got? Desmond Mason, D. I'm gonna throw this Manu down in F. I don't care. Yeah, Desmond Mason's a great defender. He runs rim really well. He just isn't a good shooter, and that's kind of the only issue. But he's not terrible. If you badge him up, he's probably C tier. Hal Greer, throw him down in like F. He's all right. This Zach LaVine. Oh, we got like 3 Zach LaVines. I'd throw you down in like... no, I'd throw you in C. Yeah, you go C tier. You also go C tier. This Devin Booker, where's the diamond one? He deserves to be right next to it. Yep, bam. Okay. And this Zach LaVine is B tier. He's still really good. I would actually put him ahead of like Devin Booker. Yeah, Juan Carlos Navarro's header. He's better than those guys. That Zach LaVine's still really good. And for 20K, there's not a card in this game that you can buy that's as good as this Zach LaVine, I don't think. Maybe Gerald Green and Lionel Hollins are pretty good as well, but this moment Zach LaVine out of that locker code, if you got that for free, it's the best free card we've gotten in a while. Like, Clyde Drexler might be a little bit better, but Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Tracy McGrady are all basically clones of themselves. So, if you like any of those cards, you're going to like the rest of them, and that's kind of a big key right there. And Pink Diamond MJ down in D. So anyways, guys, that's the tier list. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I'm sure, like, people are going to disagree with it. The shooting guard tier lists are always the most contentious for me. So I try to rank it as unbiased as possible, which is easy, thankfully, because my favorite player of all time is, like, a consensus 2K GOAT. So it makes it a lot easier to rank Tracy McGrady cards. If he actually kind of sucked in 2K, I don't know how well I would do these. So that's kind of an issue, but whatever. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure people are going to have cards that they think should have been higher, etc. I'm sure, like I've explained it 3 times, but just because Kawhi Leonard and Evan Fournier are both in B tier, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are as good as each other. Like, look at the discrepancy between the two. Like, Evan Fournier, bottom of D tier, or B tier. Kawhi, top of B tier. That's all I'm going to say on that matter, but let me know down in the comments what you think, and it's been your boy Cheap Loots. Check my description for all my stuff. I'll be back with the small forward tier list later, so peace.